Comparison is the thief of joy, originally stated by Theodore Roosevelt. And for over a century, we've been taking that saying completely out of context. Like, the advice of Theodore Roosevelt was correct. Like, if I look at a movie like Everything Everywhere All at Once and compare it to stuff that I do, just because a part of that movie was filmed on an iPhone, just like how I shoot these videos, I put myself in a position to discredit my progress. In that emotional state of comparison, I forget about all the different factors at play.
Let's talk about the 6 years that it took to bring this thing to the big screen. Who wants to start?
Alright. I'm embarrassed by how long it took. 6 years is a very long time.
At the end of the day, we ultimately have the choice to decide how we use comparison. It's being unaware of that choice that fucks with our heads. So let's talk about how we can choose a bit better. First, we need to understand the only difference between envy and the satisfaction we feel for their accomplishments is comparing parts of ourselves to parts of them. I look at my favorite YouTubers, comedians, and movies, and despite the differences between what we create, I learn a lot using the pieces I find into my own stuff that I create. Storytelling, communication, tension, then find the missing pieces I want to bring over from elsewhere. Whereas when we learn to feel satisfaction for someone else's success, we feel proud because we see the similarities between us and them, and this makes you feel like you can do it too. Framing the sensation of envy into something productive, but constantly comparing the version of yourself that has little experience in all the verticals that others have spent years refining will always lead you down a path of hopelessness. That's when you boil it down to them getting lucky and then give up on yourself. We constantly compare ourselves to others like this and start to become depressed, sinking into ourselves and only focusing on our disadvantages, spiraling down the toughest states of mind to navigate. So tough that the word depression itself isn't even sharply defined. When someone claims to be depressed, we vaguely imagine someone's unhappiness ranging from somewhere between sad and just feeling hopeless. There's one definition I found said by Sigmund Freud that I related to a lot, and that depression is just anger turns inward. Always looking at the person far ahead of us and devaluing the skill that we've built up until now, leading to a feeling where we lack control to do anything about it. Not having a proper direction to point this anger towards. Putting our anger on the wrong place, on ourselves, instead of towards making those small actions every day to make a change. But instead, those days are spent where you binge movies, watch YouTube, and play video games instead of doing something about that feeling. And that feeling you have that's just so tough to put in words that it's almost as if your body's signaling to you that you've given up on the version that you could become to remain the version that you are right now. Vacuum cleaners have to be the most annoying fucking sound I've ever heard in my entire life. It's a bit quieter now. We're gonna continue the video. We simply can't become the person we want to be without doing the things that type of person would do. By becoming curious on how it's done, we can become that version as well. Comparison isn't the truth, it's a question. It switches our perception from thinking that something's impossible to thinking that there's a way to get it done. Using comparison as a tool rather than it using you. You look at LeBron James posterizing Jason Terry and you think to yourself, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Forgetting that you can dive into that question too. What the fuck are you doing? The progress you make feels as if you posterized Jerry too. That's all you need. The progress in and of itself is enough. Even looking at my first couple videos up until now, like my videos now aren't even close to some of the artists and creators on this platform, but the progress I made in the time that I've been trying to make videos, it's been pretty cool. It's felt pretty rewarding. And I'll credit the progress I made by paying attention to the stories on how they got to where they are right now. Hearing the hundreds of ways they've managed to forge their own path. Remind me that there's just so many ways you can literally just make one. And through their stories, you realize even at their level, they still struggle with comparison as well. We all want something someone else has. Most celebrities want our privacy, we want their money. The thing with wanting what someone else has is that you're making a contract to be unhappy until you get it. Discounting the things that you already do have. As I progress, I'm showing that I'm capable of more, that there's this energy that builds up inside of me with each trial that I overcome. It's fucking awesome. Nowhere near any of the goals that I set for myself. I still got a very long journey to go. There's things like marketing I'm still just bad at. But I do understand that like the goals that you set yourself, once you get to that goal, you're just gonna set another one anyways. Comparison can only really fuck with you if you're the type of person to only do something if you're immediately good at it. Limiting you to be stuck at the version that you are. Especially when you realize the uncomfortable truth that whatever you start doing, no matter how much you like it, you're gonna be fucking terrible at. It's easy to forget that, like, oh my god, I'm so cringe. I can't compete with directing like Quentin Tarantino. will probably go away. But that's not what matters. That's the problem with comparison, is the amount of shame we might feel when we look nakedly at where we are compared to those who have started way before us. When there's no shame in starting late, it's way worse to just not start at all. Life is literally getting better at something than realizing that you're worse at another thing and then only be able to see how good other people are. Then when you get to that level anyways, you realize that you're still not that good because there's always going to be some kid who's better than you. The next thing you know, you're dead. That's why the only thing that matters is the process of it. The goal is going to change anyway. We all grow up with a different perception, situation, and experience on how we do life. Don't take it too seriously. Looking at others helps us understand where we are sometimes and where we actually want to go. Other than that, it's not even comparable. If you want to dive a little deeper on stuff like this, sign up for my mailing list in the first link in the description. Go to my blog, hit that sign up button. You'll know it on the site. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. See you later.